Now we will see class 12 Sociology chapter 5 Change and Development in Industrial Society part 2. Globalization, liberalization and changes in Indian industry. Since the 1990s, however, the government has followed a policy of liberalization. Private companies, specifically foreign firms, are engaged to invest in sectors earlier reserved for them. Government, including telecom, civil aviation, power, etc. Licenses are no longer required to open the industries. Foreign products are now easily available in Indian shops. As a result of liberalization, many Indian companies have been brought over by multinationals. At the same time, some Indian companies are becoming multinational companies. At instant, of the first is when Parley drinks were bought by Coca-Cola. Parley's annual turnover was rupees 250 crores, while Coca-Cola advertising budget alone was rupees 400 crores. This level of advertising has naturally increased the consumption of Coke across India, replacing many traditional drinks. The next major area of liberalization may be in retail. Do you think that Indians will prefer to shop in departmental stores or while they go out of business? Box 5.1 Retail chains crumble to enter the Indian market. Clamoring to enter India's red-hot retail sector, the world's largest chains, including Walmart stores, Carrefour and Tesco, are seeking the best way to enter the country despite a government ban on foreign direct investment in the market. Recent large investment by major Indian businesses like Reliance Industries, Bharati Airtel have increased the sense of urgency for foreign retailers. Last week, Bharati Airtel indicated that it was the talks with the Walmart, Carrefour and Tesco to set up retailing joint venture. India's retail sector is attractive not only by of its fast growth but because family-run street corner stores have 90% of the nation's business. But this industry trade is preciously why the government makes it hard for beginners to enter the market. Politicians frequently argue that global retailers would destroy the thousands of small local players and bludgeoningly domestic chains. Source International Herald Tribune, 3rd August 2006. The government is trying to sell its share in several public sector companies, a process which is known as the disinvestment. Many government workers are scared that after disinvestment they will lose their jobs. In modern foods, which was set up by the government to make the healthy bread available at cheap prices, and which was the first company to be privatized, 60% of the workers were forced to retire in the first 5 years. Let us see how this fits in with worldwide trends. More and more companies are introducing the number of permanent employees and outsourcing the work to smaller companies or even to homes. For multinational companies, this outsourcing is done across the globe, with developing countries like India providing cheap labor because small companies have to compete for orders from the big companies. They keep the wages low and the working conditions are often poor. it is more difficult to trade unions to organize in smaller firms. Almost all companies, even government ones, now practice some form of outsourcing and contracting. But the trend is specifically visible in the private sector. To summarize, India is still largely an agricultural country. The service sector, shops, banks, the IT industry, hotels, and other services are employing more people, and the urban middle class is growing. Along with the urban middle class values like those we see in the television, serials, and films. But we also see that very few people in India have access to secure jobs, with even the small number in regular salaried employment becoming more insecure due to the rise in contract labor. So far, employment by the government was the major avenue for increasing the well-being of the population, but now even that is coming down. Some economists debate this, but liberalization and privatization worldwide appear to be associated with the raising income inequality. You will be reading more about this in the next chapter on globalization. At the same time as secure in large industries in declining, the government is embarking on the policies of land acquisition for industry. These industries do not necessarily provide employment to the people of surrounding areas, but they cause major pollution. Many farmers, specifically Adivasis, who constitute approximately 40% of those displaced there, are protesting at the low rates of compensation and the fact that they will be forced to become the casual labor living and working on the footpaths of the India big cities. You will recall the discussion on competing interest in chapter 3:11. In the following sections, we will look at how people find work, what they actually do in the workplaces, and what kind of working conditions they face. Here they give that change and development in industrial societies 0, 5, 10, 15, 25, 20, 25, 30, the bar graph. Here they give the years, here they give the graph name. This is public, this is private, this is total. How people 5.3 How people find jobs. If you open the Times of India on Wednesday morning, you will find a section called Times Ascent. Here jobs are advertised and tips are given about how to motivate yourself or your workers to perform better. Box 5.2 on the next page shows an example of public sector job. The person will get the benefits like house rent allowance, HRE. The qualifications required for the jobs are specified in great detail. In such jobs, there are clear avenues for promotions, and you can expect that seniority will matter. Let us look at a particular sector, private job sector, in box 5.3 on the next page. This is also regular salaried employment, and the employer is a well-known hotel. But here the salary and qualifications required are flexible, and the job is likely to be on contract. Look at the language used in this advertisement, such as loyalty program. Each organization tries to create its own work culture. Dayal Singh College, box 5.2, Dayal Singh College, Delhi University Maintained College, Lodi Road, New Delhi 110003. The applications are invited for the post of principal in the scale of pay rupees 16,400 to 22,400 with the minimum of rupees 17,300 PM plus per month plus DA, CCA, HRA, TA and other benefits are permissible under the rules of the University of Delhi. Qualification: a master's degree in a relevant subject with at least 55% marks and an equivalent grade of B in the 7-point scale with the letter grade O, A, B, C, D, E and F. 2. PhD or equivalent degree. 3. Total experience of 15 years of teaching and or post-doctoral research in universities, colleges and other institutions of higher education. Applications starting the full details of qualifications, experience, age, etc. with all supporting documents should reach the chairman governing body, Dayal Singh College, Lodi Road, New Delhi 110003 in a sealed cover within 15 days from the date of publication of this advertisement. Chairman governing body. Here the box 5.3. Radisson Hotel Delhi has immediately openings for the loyalty program. Customer service executive, senior tail sales executives, candidates with a good command over English and a flair for sales may apply. Field experience preferred. We offer a 5-star work environment, ongoing development and training, motivating atmosphere, daytime jobs and good salary incentives and part-time and full-time options available. Please call between 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. 30th to 31st August and 1st September 2006. Phone 66407361 or 66407351 66407 or fax your CV to 26779062 or email memberhelpdesk@radissondel.com. Radisson. But only a small percentage of people get jobs through the advertisement or through the employment exchange. People who are self-employed like plumbers, electricians and carpenters at one hand and teachers who give the private tuitions, architects and freelance photographers at the other end all rely on the personal contacts. We hope that their work will be an advertisement for them. Mobile phones have made the life much easier for plumbers and others who can now cater to a wider circle of people. Job recruitment as a factory worker takes a different pattern. In the past, many workers got their jobs through the contractors or jobbers. In the Kanpur textile mills, these jobbers were known as the mistries, were themselves workers. They came from the same regions and communities as the workers, but because they had the owners' backing, they bossed over the worker. On the other hand, the mistriola also put community-related pressures on the worker. Nowadays, the importance of the jobber has come down and both the management and the unions play a role in recruiting their own people. Many workers also expect that they can pass on their jobs to their children. Many factories employ badly workers who subtitle for regular permanent workers who are on leave. Many of these badly workers have actually worked for many years for the same company but are not given the same status and security. This is what is called the contract work in the organized sector. However, the contract system is most visible in the hiring of casual labor for worker on construction sites, brickyards and so on. The contractor goes to the villages and asks if people want to work. He will loan them some money. This loan includes the cost of transport of the work site. The loaned money is treated as advance wage and the worker works without wages until the loan is repaid. In the past, agricultural laborers were tied to their landlord by the debt, but however, by moving to the casual industrial work, while they are still in debt, they are not bound by the other social obligation to the contractor. In fact, in that sense, they are more free in the industrial society. They can break the contract and find another employer. Sometimes whole families migrate and children help their parents. Here the box 5.1, labor gangs in the brickyards of South Gujarat. Approximately 30,000 to 40,000 workers are employed here on the seasonal basis. The brickyards are owned by the upper caste like Parises or Desaces. Members of the potter caste are also occurring brickyards as an extension of their traditional work with mud. The workers are usually local and migrant Dalits. They are employed by contracts and work in the gangs of 9 to 11 members, while the men note the nut and the mud and the brick with the little children carry each brick to the places where they are dried. The gang of women and girls then carry the brick to the kiln where they are fired by men, and from there again to the trucks where the bricks are loaded. Each gang makes 2,500 to 3,000 bricks a day. A quick can finish this number in 10 hours, while a slow gang will take 14 hours. From the age of 6, and children are home during the night to carry the fresh bricks made by their father. While wet, those bricks weigh roughly 3 kilos. The little children run with one brick each away from the base plate and into the darkness. When they reach the age of 9, they are promoted to carrying the 2 bricks. Sometimes, says the sociologist Jan Breman, their parents wake them up crying from the rags that from their beds form their beds. 5.4, how is work carried out? In this section, we will explore how work actually takes place. How are all the products we see around us manufactured? What is the relationship between the managers and the workers in the factory or in an office? In India, there is a whole range of work settings, from a large companies where work is automated to small home-based production. The basic task of manager is to control workers and get more work out of them. There are 2 main ways of making workers produce more. One is to extend the working hours, the other is to increase the amount that is produced within a given time period. Machineries help to increase the production, but it also creates a dangerous that eventually machines will replace the workers. Both Marx and Mahatma Gandhi say mechanization as dangerous to employment. Activity 5.2, Gandhi on machineries in Hindu Swaraj 1924. What I object to is the craze for machineries, not machineries as such. What I object to is the craze for machineries, not machinery as much. The craze is for what they call labor-saving machineries. Men go on saving labor till thousands are without work and thrown on the open streets to die or starvation. I want to save time and labor, not for the fractions of mankind, but for all. I want the concentration of wealth not in the hands of few, but in the hands of all. 1934, when as a nation we adopted the spinning wheel, we not only solved the questions of unemployment, but we declared that we have no intention of exploiting any nations. We also end the exploitation of the poor by the rich. And we also end the exploitations of the poor by the rich. Give an example of how machineries create the problem for workers. What alternative does Gandhi have in mind? How does adopting the spinning wheel prevent exploitation. Another way of increasing output is by organizing work. An American called Frederick Winslow Taylor invented a new system in the 1890s which he called scientific management. It is also known as Taylorism or industrial engineering. Under his system, all work was broken down into its smallest repetitive elements and divided between works. Workers were timed with the help of the stopwatches and had to fulfill a certain target every day. Production was further speed up by the introduction of the assembly line. Each worker sat along a conveyor belt and assembled only one part of the final part. The speed work could be set by adjusting the speed of the conveyor belt. In the 1980s, there was an attempt to shift from this system of direct control to indirect control, where the workers are supposed to motivate and monitor themselves. But often we find that the old Taylorist process survey. Workers in the textile mills, which is one of the oldest industries in India, often described themselves as an extension of the machines. Ram Charan, a weaver who had worked in the Kanpur cotton mills since the 1940s, said, "You need energy, the eyes more, the neck, legs and the hands. Each part moves. Weaving is done under the continuous gauze. No, one cannot go anywhere. The focus must be on the machines. When four machines run, all four must move together. They must not stop." Joshi 2003. The more mechanized an industry gets, the fewer people are employed, but they too have to work at the place of the machines. In Maruti Withdrawal Limiter, 2 cars roll of the assembly line. Withdrawal Limiter, 2 cars roll off the assembly line every minute. Workers get only 45 minutes rest in the entire day. 2 tea breaks of 7.5 minutes each and 1 lunch break of half an hour. Most of them are exhausted by the age of 40, take the voluntary retirement. While production has gone up, the number of permanent jobs in the factory has gone down. The firm has outsourced all the services like cleaning and security as well as the manufacture of parts. The part suppliers are located around the factory and send the parts every 2 hours or just in time. Outsourcing and just in time keeps the cost low for the company. But the workers are very tense because if the supplies fail to arrive, their production targets get delayed and when they do arrive, they have run to keep up. No wonder they get exhausted. Now let us look at the severe sector, service sector, software professional or middle class or well educated. Their work is supposed to be self-motivated and creative. But as we see from the box, their work is also subject to Taylorist labor process. Thank you. Sharing is caring. Comment your thoughts. Subscribe for more knowledge.